Before you give up on marriage, I want you to watch this video. I know how it feels. Constant rejection. You feel like nothing's going your way. Everything is against you. Now, I want you to hear this because for me, nothing has ever come easy to me. I've never been a natural at any, like, there's things I may have been a natural at, but for the most part, the more tangible skills I haven't, I'm not really a natural at that. And a lot of things have been learned, right? And experienced. So, well, even for me, when I was going through my fitness journey, I'm going to use fitness and I'm going to use marriage as an example here because I think that sometimes what happens is when we get to our own journey, we're trying to figure things out. We're like nothing's working, right? And then that's when we feel like giving up. And for me right now, it's currently in business. But it's one of those things where you just have to keep persevering. And when I was doing my fitness, it took me probably around 5 years to actually get to close to my desired goal. Because my first 3 years, I was going to the gym, I had my goals, and I was seeing some newbie gains and I was seeing some nice pumps, but I didn't understand how to properly go through it. I was experiencing some injuries, especially on my wrist. I wasn't doing it properly. I remember there's one guy who would come up to me and he would actually really help me. He was really experienced, probably in his 40s or maybe 50s. And he would come up to me and just show, oh, no, this is how you do it. Yeah, do it like this. He would always show me proper form. And then I hired a trainer in 2016 and two trainers actually. And that trainer really helped me understand form. And then another trainer was more body weight workouts and circuits, right? But I still didn't figure it out. I still don't understand why is it not working. Like, why am I not gaining weight? Because I was really, really skinny at that time, right? So I was really struggling. I was always in the, I was at 120 and I was at the 130s. I was always in the 130s for years and years and years. So when I was in the 130s, I realized, oh, why don't you just, you have to increase your calories. So that's when in 2018, which is 5 years later, it didn't click until that time where I was like, oh, why don't you just track your calories? So I downloaded MyFitnessPal. I just started tracking my calories and I started weighing myself once a week. And then I wouldn't go too hard, but I would notice, okay, I'm starting to gain some weight. I'm slowly gaining some weight. And that's what happened and that's what built the momentum. And then once I figured that out, when I came back from travels, I was like, oh, you've done this before. All you have to do is do it again. So I did it again. And now anytime I feel like I'm off when it comes to my weight or when it comes to my fitness, all I have to do, I always go back. Okay, well, go back to what you did before, right? But there was moments when I was on and off. I wasn't able to figure it out. I was lost. I was like, man, what's the point? Right? I would look at myself. I'm like, oh, like, what's the point? Like, I'm trying so hard. I would see people that would put in less effort and I'd be like, they'd see way more results than me. And people would say, oh, you need to eat more, and this and that. People always say, oh yeah, really skinny. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, also body type is a big thing too, which is something that we can talk about on a future date. But it's one of those things where I was so discouraged at that point that I just told myself, man, what's the point? But something inside me just said, keep going. And I wasn't seeing results for a while. There's a period where I was very consistent, but I wasn't seeing any results at all, right? I wasn't seeing no results. But what happened was I just kept trying, trust the process. In 2020, I said, oh, now I know exactly what I need to do. All I have to do is just put in the work and then the results will come, right? And now my fitness has changed. I'm not fully focused on aesthetics. I'm really just focused on fitness for mental. I'm still very consistent with my fitness. I go to the gym 3 to 5 days a week and I go for runs at least 1 day a week. And the same thing with marriage, right? It was just one of those things where I was in constant rejection. I couldn't figure it out. I felt lost. I felt confused, and I just felt like nothing was working. And then I went through some engagements, right? I thought those were gonna be like, oh, this is it. I finally figured this out, right? I read books, I watched videos. I try to learn this stuff. I spent so much time trying to learn this stuff, right? And it wasn't until 2023, which was probably like, yeah, you can count the dates, but where it started to slowly make sense, and I started to focus on my internal state, myself personally, right? 2020, I was like get in shape, but at that point I was like, okay, well, there's more to it than just getting in shape and making money. Because 2019, I started to get better in my career, but I still wasn't there, right? So that's something that's a big part. It took a while. And there was a period from 2020 to 2023 where I was like, or 2022, where I was like, I don't ever want to get married. I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married. I kept saying this to everyone I was seeing. People ask, oh yeah, well, like how's that part? I'm like, no, I don't want to get married. I would say that. Like I was literally saying that. But something, I don't know, something inside me just kind of, just for some reason, I decided, you know what, let's just keep going. Let's just keep trying. Let's keep trying. Let's keep trying. Let's keep trying. Right? And that, alhamdulillah, has enabled me to obviously get married. And alhamdulillah, I'm happily married. So that's something that is just a product of just persisting and, obviously trusting Allah and asking Allah for guidance. And even this business right now, right? With this business that I'm currently running, I've been running this page, or this Fit for Mental, for about a year now. And just to be frank, like it's not generating anything crazy. Like I'm not getting, like, it's nothing crazy. But throughout the year, I've pivoted, not just pivoted, I've made good pivots, right? I've actually figured out, okay, well, this is not working, let's do this. And then that ended up working. This is not working, let's try this. And it's been a constant like trial and error, but a part of me feels like, okay, well, you're getting closer to your desired goals, right? And it's obviously always going to evolve, but if you look at my personal Instagram page, which is the page that I've been running since the start, is you can see that there's an evolution with that page. And inshallah, we'll see what happens. We'll obviously I have my coaching, which if you're interested in, check it out. But it's something where it's like, even to this point, I always have to remind myself that just because there's points where I'm discouraged. It's normal. You're gonna feel discouraged. But there's points where I'm just like, well, you're closer to where you were than last year. You're closer than 2 months ago, right? My Instagram started to slowly see some traction literally last month, which was July, right? It's currently August as I'm making this video. So sometimes your breakthrough, it'll come, but it won't come until maybe a little bit later. Like basically, like you'll see a shift maybe in your mindset, or your skills will shift, but you're not going to see the results right away. What happens is you start to see the results will start to slowly trickle in, and then eventually it'll start to it'll start to come your way. So I'm making this video really as a reminder to myself, because last couple of weeks, or not the weeks, I would say the last week or so, I've been a little discouraged just in general, just with business in general. And I always have to remind myself my journey when it came to the marriage journey, or when it came to the fitness journey, right? Even my deen, right? It's like in general, right? Even evolution with my family, right? So this is something I really want to talk about, because one of the biggest themes that I've been talking about in this channel, or just about marriage in general, which is something that people don't talk about enough, is your emotional control. Because what happens is, this dunya, this life, is always going to have obstacles. There's always going to be things that are going to, like, they're going to bog you down. They're not going to go your way. But if your emotional control is on point, if you have good emotional control, you can navigate through a lot of these situations in a way that you will thrive, right? Don't worry, you will figure it out, inshallah. Just make a lot of dua, right? It's, again, this is a reminder to my own self. And I'm making these videos because this was a collection of over a decade of trial and error, trying to figure all this stuff out, right? It's literally, that's what it is. This is literally a decade of me trying to figure all this stuff out. But through just trial and error, and through, just not giving up, and just learning, constant learning, this journey has enabled me to get in good shape, right? I'm fit. I'm very fit, right? I'm approaching my 30s, and I'm in probably one of the best shape, right? These last few years, obviously, I'm my physical prime, but I'm getting in better shape, right? In terms of like just my fitness, and it's evolving, right? I'm finding things that I actually enjoy. I'm healthy, alhamdulillah. And of course, I'm married, right? I'm kind of in this building stage of my life, right? So a lot of people are discouraged or in this situation. You haven't figured it out. If you're in that situation, just don't give up yet. Just maybe take a day off. Maybe take a day or two off. Maybe you need that day off, right? And that's something that I have to remind myself. Sometimes just take a day off, right? But inshallah, you'll get there. You'll figure it out one step at a time. Have tawakkul, inshallah. So just want to say this reminder to myself before anyone else. But yeah, we'll talk. And again, if you want that one-on-one coaching, let me know down below, or just you can apply down below, and then inshallah we will talk. So, assalamu alaikum.